My guest today is Ercole Fusco. He is a Swiss-German plumber from Lake Tyers Beach in Victoria who had the chance to live and work on the Casey Station in Antarctica during the summer program of 2017 to 2018, the 71st Anare. He applied on a whim and ended up at the edge of the world.
So it's really interesting. Antarctica, how did you end up going there?
So the whole story, I never had any idea about Antarctica and working down there until I had one of my plumbing friends. He rang me up and he said if he can put me as a referee for a job in Antarctica. And I asked him, why do you need me? And he said to me, because you got all the qualification they're asking for. So at least, when they ring me up, they can see that you know all about this and they can give a good word for me. So I did, yeah, all right, no worries. And then I said to him, is it all right if I look into it as well? Because it sounded really interesting. And that was the 25th of January, 17, around 12-ish at lunchtime. And the last day to send in a resume was the 25th, 12 o'clock at night. and I rang my friend again. I said, listen, are you okay if I apply as well? And he goes, yeah, no worries, just apply because it takes at least 5-6 years until they get you in. But then, roughly 2 months later, they rang me up and they said they would like to have an interview with me. And I was like, wow. I mean, after my horrible resume, well, how comes that I get the chance to go for an interview? So there was around 3,600 candidates. And out of these 3,600 candidates, they took 120 for an interview. And that was in Tasmania. They bought those flight tickets, everything we needed to go there. But this interview was a 24-hour interview. The first 8 hours we were sitting in a circle, and then they asked us questions, and they gave us always around 5-minute time to think about what we want to say. Then we had to get up. Every time I had to get up and I said what I said, I thought it was all right. But then I heard the other ones and I went like, no, that's actually better. That's a better answer. So the whole day it was really, really, really like, I always thought, no, there's no way. We had to get up again in the circle and tell those 6 judges who I would prefer to go to Antarctica out of those 18. So I had to say the one most likely and the one the less likely. And that was a bit, after 24 hours together, like it was really intense together. It was not just together. And you heard everyone talking about their ideas. You thought like, this person is nice, this person is nice. And after 24 hours, you really swapped your ideas and you thought, I would never be 4 or 5 months with this person in the same room. So that was that interview. After that, I had another interview, a technical interview about my job. And that was like 2 days later, they rang me up and said, congratulations, you got the next step done. Now you need to go for a psychology test. So I still didn't know if I get the job. But then again, roughly 2 weeks later, they said, you have to go for the medical. So that's the whole thing. So out of 3,600, I was one of the 6 plumbers that took on.
So 6 plumbers. What was the other mix of people like and like their occupations? What were they doing down there?
Out of the 91 people on station, there were around 30 scientists, 6 plumbers, 6 electricians, around 5 builders, 3 chefs, 2 doctors, station leader. So it was a bit every trade down there. We had a lot of operators like boat operators, excavator operators, aircraft people, stuff like this as well. 2 helicopter pilots, 3 normal pilots. We had a really interesting scientist from Germany. She was 12 months isolated on her own in the center of Antarctica to find out how it is if they send people to the moon.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
That's amazing. So what was the best part of being in Antarctica?
The best part is the adventure itself. When you first time step on Antarctica on the ice, it's just, I don't know, you can't explain it, because you just stand there with open mouth and you look around and you see these icebergs. You know, when you see icebergs in TV, no, you can't compare it. When you see them real, it is just like, wow, it's just huge, 200-300 meter high icebergs. It's just impressive, the whole area. The adventure of being there with the scenery, the penguins, of course. The penguins, again, you can't compare them with those ones at the zoo. It's just, when you see them out there, it's just different. Yeah.
So what was the worst thing or the hardest thing about it?
The hardest thing is that you get homesick. They even told us this when I went to for the psychology test. They told us that the first 6-7 weeks, you're going to love it because it's something new, the scenery, everything around. But then you drop into a hole, almost a depression, homesick. And you could feel the whole station was like, fun, happy. And from one day to the other, the whole station was like down. No one was ready. No one wanted to have party anymore. That's the hardest part, is the 10-15 days.
Yeah, people don't really talk about that part of it. They're always talking about how fun it was. And
yes, and but no.
So saying all that, would you recommend this to other people? Just applying for it and going for it?
Oh yeah. It is it is one of those experiences. If you have done that experience, it's absolutely, not something you don't. I don't want to miss it.